So, this is going to be, a unusual kind of intro, I guess. So, the reason I haven't been uploading recently was a video I'd spent a lot of time working on got corrupted and just kind of died. This was a mega compilation I'd been working on, kind of as like a buffer to the channel. This was going to be what I thought was, gonna help the channel grow quite a bit due to just its pure entertainment factor. It was just gonna be like this 40-minute, just all out, just massive video, okay? I had, everything the channel loved. I had, two great story times from my cousin, or a person I know, about an illegal party with over 10,000 people attending that got busted by the cops. The night I was there when this person I know, their car got caught on fire while they were driving it. Um, and some of my own story times. It had a massive, cool Minecraft-based tour and like this really cool trailer inviting all my subscribers to a world I have that's an anarchy world on Bedrock Edition. I had cool sniping montages from Destiny 2 and Rainbow Six Siege. I had just a lot of gameplay in there. I had my my No Man's Sky base trailer or base tour, which I've spent a lot of time working on. It was just all around an amazing video. I spent a crap amount of time working on this thing. It had a ton of imports. It had voiceovers. It had copyright-free music. It just had the whole shebang. Okay, it was probably one of the best things I've ever made. One of the best videos I've ever spent on this channel, and it was just I'd spent so much time. Now this video, it got deleted. Okay, so I just lost a little bit of my soul. I accidentally deleted one video off my computer. It was like a 4-minute clip that I thought was just some garbage that I had from earlier, and that was a clip I hadn't ended up using. And I deleted it, and then I uploaded the video to YouTube, and that corrupted a lot of the files. It just really screwed everything up. It only ended up uploading like a tenth of the actual video, and everything in it was just wrong. It all the clips and stuff got shuffled around. So that's why I haven't been uploading recently, is I just kind of died a little bit inside, but I'm planning on continuing working as of this day on that massive channel trailer. I'm going to need to get footage again. I'm going to need to contact friends. Uh, yeah, a lot of these clips I had worked on for a long time with with some of my friends. We had Minecraft stuff, we had Destiny stuff, we had Apex stuff. It was going to be great, but it all got deleted. So yeah, I don't know when this next mega compilation will come out. It'll take me a long time to get a lot of the clips that I had from before, and at least get something good, if not better, than what I had before from all the games I'd played. Plus, just the overall coverage of content I had. Again, I had gaming stuff. I had some funny random clips. I had vlogs. I had story times. It was just gonna be like it was me really just testing the waters, seeing what you guys liked about my channel the most, and just taking everything that I thought you all liked the most and taking it and putting it together and just making something great. So sorry, I went off again a little bit there. So as of right now, I am promising you guys and myself that I can't set a deadline for when this video will come out, but I will try my best, between school, family life. I'll try my best to do what I can to make this happen. So, yes, I hope you enjoy just some random clips that I have from right now. I have, again, I lost this a while ago and I haven't been working on a video since, but I have some clips right here to offer. They aren't as good as a lot of them, but here are some mediocre clips that I have saved. So, yeah, here you go. These are all going to be deleted after I upload this, and I'm going to start fresh, get all the best clips, and I'm just going to try like I did the last time. I'm going to try for the perfection. Goodbye. So today, that's right, today, which is the current time as of the calendar year, the current date set as calendar year. Today, that was a really long intro. Today, I'm going to be telling you all about the time that my cousin and his friend and my grandpa drove a burning car down the freeway and almost had to pay a crap ton on insurance. Okay, so I'm gonna set the setting for you, okay? We had been sledding up in, whatever part of Utah, mountainy Utah, which is near to where I live, for like 2 hours, okay? Everybody's tired. We're listening to freaking dubstep on the way home back to my aunt's house, which, these cousins aren't my aunt's children, they're my other aunt's children. So my aunt is the aunt whose house we are at, but the cousins are not the children of said aunt whose house we are currently at, okay? So we get back home, okay, after sledding a long day. I made some awesome jumps. If I have, I'll put up footage for the mega compilation sometime, because dang, those jumps were, woo! So and of course on the way home we're listening to dubstep. So my cousin and my grandpa and my dad and everybody gets back to the house, and my cousin's friend needs to be picked up because his car burned down. Well, not burned down, like broke down on the side of the road due to some like fire or something. Okay, so my cousin's friend, or this guy, okay, his car under his hood is actually burning, okay? So he has to stop his car, park his car, and he has to go out. He runs like a mile or two and finds a camper. And in the camper is this family with the fire extinguisher, okay? So he gets to this place, he gets the fire extinguisher, and he gets back to his car, and he extinguishes the small fire that was under his hood. It wasn't anything too serious, it was just a small fire that kind of traveled down to where his feet were, which is how he noticed it, okay? So his car is on fire, okay? So he calls my cousin, who is nearby in the same state, and he's like, yo, I need somebody to come tow me because my car may or may not freaking blow up in my face at any given point, okay? So my cousin's like, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, nah, bro, we got you. And this is his friend who he's, I think, pretty close with. They have a few crazy stories that I may or may not be allowed to share. Not really sure. I'm not asking permission. Sorry, mate. So his car's broken down, and they go out to get him, okay? So my grandpa and my cousin are gonna drive out. Okay, now my grandpa tells me later that he actually was thinking of inviting me to come ride with them to pick up my cousin's friend, but he thought that I wouldn't really want to, which I wouldn't really want to if I hadn't known that the car was gonna freaking burn down. Okay, if I knew the car was gonna burn, I definitely would have gone. So they're riding out, okay, and they have to get like this, kind of like half tow, I'm not sure what it's called, where the front of the car goes on like this like trailer connected to the back of my grandpa's truck, and then the wheels are just kind of like riding along on the ground, okay? They're just kind of like, scooting along, whatever, rolling along, chugging along, whatever expression you want to use. They were traveling at a certain RPM that made it so that something, I'm pretty sure some sort of e-brake or something would burn, okay? So they're riding around they're driving. My grandpa goes to pick him up. My cousin's friend, or the friend, has this fire extinguished. My grandpa and my cousin get there, and so they pick up this friend, okay? And they were planning on having him ride in the actual car that had broken down, just and get him like a bunch of blankets, and he would just go sit back there, and he would just kind of chill out and make sure everything was going fine. But they're like, nah. Why would we make him ride in the car? Which is good that they didn't make him, or else he would be toasted alive and dead as of, right now, and as of 3 months ago. So they pick him up, and they attach the car to this trailer thing. And so they get in the car, they drive down the freeway, and they're all just having a good time, they're talking whatever. All of this friend's stuff is in his car, his subwoofers, all of his, tricked out car crap. I don't know what 22-year-olds keep in their car. Girls, like music, I don't know, drugs, probably. So he has all that stuff in his car, okay? And they're riding along, and they're like, why is the freeway so darn clear? Like it's like the freeway at night is pretty desolate, especially in like freaking Utah. There aren't gonna be a lot of cars, but there'll be some cars. And they're like, I don't know. So they just keep like driving along, and suddenly like they notice like this cop car behind them, and they're like, what's going on? And they look, and they're like, what? And so they turn around, and this cop car starts, like, wailing its sirens or whatever, and another cop car pulls up behind it. And suddenly they're being followed by, like, this small convoy of cars. And my grandpa looks out his mirror and doesn't see anything. And then my grandpa turns around. The cop literally has to pull my grandpa over, okay? He pulls him over, and he's like, sir, do you know that the car behind you is on fire? And my grandpa's like, what? And this guy, okay, the car they were towing was on fire, like, no joke, burning. It was melting, okay? And they're like, oh my gosh. So the cop cars are like pulled to the side, and they have fire trucks like lining up as they speak. I think they ended up having 4 fire trucks there because they had been driving for probably like 10 minutes with this burning Honda Civic, tricked out Honda Civic, riding in the back of their car while they talked about politics and I don't know whatever 22-year-olds and a 65-year-old were talking about. I really don't know. So they were talking about this, okay? So these cars, okay, these police cars, they get my grandpa out, my cousin run out, and they're freaking out. They're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? The car is literally burning, and the cops are like, okay, we need to get stuff out of there. So my cousin and his friend and my grandpa start pulling stuff out. Their hands are on fire. When they got home, they had like burn marks on their hands and like tar and crap, and I don't know, weird like melted car junk. I don't know what cars are made of, man. Like metal or something, like cheap metal, because this thing was on fire. And the cops had to they had all these fire hydrants, and they had to get all these cops. They had blocked off the entire freeway, okay? They had blocked off like 20 miles of freeway because these 3 idiots, this retired old man, this like 22-year-old and his friend, were driving down the freeway in a truck in a burning car strapped behind him, okay? Now, my cousin and all his stuff was getting burned up, okay? And so the car just kept burning. They had to end up letting it burn out, if I remember correctly. Like, it ended up just, everything was gone. Luckily my friend had insurance on the car, because this thing was, this thing was not coming back. Everything inside of it was gone. Everything about it was just gone. Okay, so they're like, okay, we need to get home. So they drive to the house. That's kind of the end of the story. They had to file a crap ton of, paperwork and stuff because, I don't know, it's not every day you have to have a police convoy pull you over for, driving a burning car down, 40 miles of freeway. So, as I said kind of before or alluded to in the beginning of the video, the car's brakes had kind of malfunctioned. So when the back wheels started spinning, it made it so that, like, something got rubbed and it all just burned on the inside. So luckily my friend had insurance and could have a lot of it covered, but he was still kind of screwed out. They smelled like smoke really bad. Again, they were kind of burned up. Nobody was hurt that bad, I guess, but it was still just an absolutely crazy story, especially when they came home and we kind of had an idea of what was going on. All we knew was car on fire and insurance, so we were kind of hoping to wait for the story for when they got home. I'm sure I'm leaving out some key details. Again, the full story and some other stories will be included in in the mega compilation that I'm working on. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna start the next video here right after this one. So I know a certain person who nobody else knows other than me. Totally. That's the truth. I can't say who it is because they could have this written down on their criminal record. So this person that I know, them don't want to. Again, I don't want to. I want to reveal as little information as possible. Them and their friends, we're going to have this Halloween party around, Halloween down in the Salt Lake City area, like Salt Lake. I don't know which Salt Lake. There are a lot of salty lakes here. Okay, only one. There's the Great Salt Lake, and then there are other lakes. So it is the lake, okay? And they were going to have they were going to have this Halloween party, okay? And they're selling tickets at like, you know, $10 a pop. And they're just gonna have like, they're planning on maybe having 40 people show up, but planning on having like maybe 30 people show up, okay? They had a friend who was a DJ, and they'd done some parties before, and they're just gonna have like this chill, you know, like kind of robust Halloween party. So they sold tickets, and they sold way more than expected. They sold, I think, like, you know, like 500 tickets, okay? So they sold way too many, and they're like, okay, we can't have this event because it goes against COVID regulations. They're thinking maybe 30 people would, like, you know, sign up, and it would be kind of like, you know, it would be bad. Okay, I don't want to say bad, because screw the government and COVID at this point. It was going to be bad, but they just didn't think they'd get in trouble for it. You know, like 30 people, it's not, you know, it's 30 people, but in an outdoor venue, it's going to be fine, okay? And so they sell tickets, and they sell, as I said before, like 500. So they text all the people who had tickets, and they were like, hey, you know, the event's off, we're not doing it because of COVID regulations, we don't want everybody to get sick, we don't want anything bad to happen, so party's off, we're so sorry. They were going to refund all your money, and they did, and they're like, okay, so, you know, this would have been fun, but we aren't going to do it, okay? So they're like, okay, everything's good, everybody who is going to come isn't ending up coming, so they just decided, like, hey, we're going to have 20 at max, 20 of our friends, and we're just gonna have, like, we're gonna say the party's canceled, but, like, this inner group of friends is just gonna have this party anyways, okay? Because, you know, all the people who were gonna come aren't gonna come anymore. So these people, like, they had 7 of the main event coordinators, okay? Only 5 got caught by the police. They had 7 event coordinators who were going to, like, just manage everything, okay? They had the DJ, you know, the people were selling the tickets, the marketing, and just like this tightly knit friend group, okay? Which this person I know is in, okay? This is a pretty rad person. So they have the party, and they're like, hey, we're just gonna do this, okay? So they pull up at the party site, and they set up like their small stage and stuff, and they're just like having a good time, and then people start coming, okay? There were way too many people coming. There were, and I kid you not, over 10,000 people who showed up to this party, okay? Now, everything was going great, okay? There were public health concerns, but nobody should have gotten in trouble, because, you know, it's whatever. So again, this party happening around Halloween. So they're like, crap, okay, we gotta put off this party, but at the same time they just didn't really want to, and they were like, people just kept showing up and they didn't know what to do, okay? So they're like, we're gonna have this party, end it fast, and everything should be good, okay? So they have this absolute rager of a party. There were so many people that there are literally pictures, and if I can find one, I will show it to you, of people who somehow managed to park cars on top of other cars in the street, okay? I've seen the picture, I don't have it saved, this person who I know kind of showed it to me, so it was crazy, okay? And again, 10,000 people. Do you know how many that is? That's more people than the BLM parade I went to, okay? Because, gosh. People have their political affiliations. I find Black Lives Matter annoying. I'm black, just want to put that out there. You guys can do whatever you want. So anyways, this is, you know, big party. And they're like, crap, what are we gonna do? So there's this idiot girl, okay, she wasn't an idiot, who was crowd surfing. That's where everybody just kind of pushes you around over their heads, and like, it's crowd surfing. If the name isn't really explanatory, then I don't really know what is. And she falls and she gets hurt. Okay, so they're like, oh crap. So somebody calls an ambulance and is like, yo, this girl broke her leg. Anybody want to come help us? So now the ambulance can't get through the crowd because, again, it's 10,000 people. So the ambulance gets there, they get the girl, and they're like, okay, we're calling the cops. Like, this party is crazy. The event coordinators hadn't planned on there being any drugs. They never revealed if there were any drugs. The cops didn't know if there were drugs. And so around this area, there was this huge kind of, like, fence, this, like, metal fence. I think it had, like, barbed wire on top of it or something. It was kind of like a secure area. I think just for the event. And these people, and again, there were barbed wires over the edges of the, like, fence and stuff. I think just to prevent, like, you know, random people from the outside coming in without paying for a ticket. These people coordinated. They got everybody who's there, took off their jackets and put them, the cop cars pulled up, they put them over the barbed wire on the fence and started hopping the fence. So you can imagine the frenzy of 10,000 people putting their jackets, coats, whatever they had on their bodies over this fence and just running, full out, just running away, getting to their cars, leaving as fast as they can, okay? So this party is crazy. Now, the cops pull up, they find the event coordinators, and they're like, hey, give us your IDs, kids. And, like, five of the event coordinators give them their IDs. They don't think they know they're in a bit of trouble, but they don't think it's going to be too bad. I think they got fined, like, $1,000 or something like that. They're like, okay, yeah, it's bad. They ended up having, I don't even think they got in that much trouble again. It was nothing permanent. It was nothing serious. They just ended up having to shut down the party because of health concerns. Like, there weren't enough bathrooms, there weren't enough fire hydrants, there weren't enough fire exits for this many 10,000 people to be there, okay? So, now, this person I know, this person I know doesn't give them their ID, and their friend doesn't give them their ID, because this friend kind of put this all together, and my friend knows that if they give them their ID, then it's very easy to trace back to them, and if this goes south, again, they were kind of like one of the main, like 3 masterminds, kind of putting on this party, okay? So, they didn't give them their ID, they're like, I refuse to give you identification, and the cops are like, alright, whatever. They didn't think it was too bad, like, they weren't arresting anybody, they weren't, they weren't planning on, like, screwing over these kids, they just had to get there just genuinely just for health concerns, okay? So my friend is like, or this person I know is like, we can't give you identification, and the cops are like, alright, that's fine, like, it's, it's whatever, we just wanted to know who you were, just that, we could have it on record that, you might have done something a little bit bad, it wasn't illegal, wasn't bad, anything. So, the cops go, and, so, we think it's fine, okay? Now, here's where things get interesting, okay? Because everybody leaves, they take down the party, and everything's fine, okay? We think for like 2 months, everything's good, okay? We think, hey, it's no problem, it was a crazy party, crazy story, super fun, people got hurt, people almost died, cars on top of cars, absolute banger of a party, crap tons of money. It was like, whatever. But now, let me tell you the thing. 2 months later, news article comes out, and, this person I know, their friends send them this news article and tell them, so these young, 20-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 16-year-olds, okay, who, like, these 7, like, 16 to, like, 23-year-olds who put on this party, 5 of them now have a criminal record and were being arrested for hosting this party, okay? Now, you may think, hey, that's it's what you deserve. You're throwing a party, okay? But let me put this into your brain, okay? 10,000 people, okay? Initially, it was going to be fine. The cops were only there to break up the party. Everything was going to be good. Nobody was in trouble. They might have got, like, I think they ended up getting fined, but it wasn't going on any sort of record. It was just, or, it wasn't a criminal record thing, it was just like, hey, let's just take care of you, we're just here for public concern. These cops are great, okay? 2 months later, Chief of Police comes out, says, hey, you know what? We're gonna screw over these kids. And for no reason whatsoever, is like, hey, you know what? Because of COVID, there was too much of a gathering. These boys are sent to prison. Okay, maybe not prison, but they have a criminal record. I think some of them end up serving time. They have a record for being, like, straight up criminals, Oh, yeah, hey, what you in for? Like, you can think of the meme. Little Timmy walks up, and, guy is like, hey, we got Stealing Steve in our gang. He robbed, 13 banks. We got Murdering Mike. He murdered an entire family. We got Arson Andy. He burned down 3 villages and committed mass extinction events. And we got Jim here. What did Jim do? He threw a party. It's like, what happened? People showed up. Well, why'd they get arrested? Was it drugs or something, like, illegal? Nah. Well, what was it? there's too many people. Well, like, how many people were there? Like, millions? Like, hundreds of thousands? I mean, it was a bit, like, 10,000. It wasn't anything too bad. Oh, okay. Like, that's what we're thinking here, okay? That's the lines we're thinking on, okay? So, these kids are now being criminally charged, okay? They're not going to be able to get certain jobs because they threw a party during COVID-19. Now, look, up to this point, it's been cool with the government, okay? Like, yeah, the government's been kind of annoying, but like, hey, the mask thing, the mask mandates and everything, it's just kind of, at first, it was just, in everybody's interest, okay? We had 2 weeks, 2 weeks, or like 2 years to slow the spread of COVID. It is, we're just gonna go with the government, but nah. The government has pushed it too far. They are arresting these innocent kids and giving them criminal records because they threw a party. Now, the cops, and it's better in the article, the person who wrote the article just throws subtle hints about how this chief of police is really just a D-bag for doing this. Again, this person I know doesn't have any criminal record because he didn't show them his identification, so they couldn't be tracked. So everything's good, okay? But I just want, I'm just gonna leave the rest of the story, or, my ranting for the mega compilation. Again, this is kind of like the soft mega compilation. So I hope you guys enjoyed. That's gonna be it for the story time portion. And the rest is just gonna be clips. Enjoy. You thought I was kidding. Now, let me tell you a little story that really just emphasizes my pure amount of swagger, okay, kiddoodlers? Now, imagine this, okay? You're sitting at lunch, you're kind of bored out of your mind, you're sitting with your group of friends, but you don't want to sit with them anymore. So what do? You do what any sane person would do. You go get food, okay? Because when you don't want to talk, you stuff your face with food, okay? You indulge yourself. So I'm walking over to the lunch line in my school. I'm gonna go, like, maybe get some of that chicken sandwich, maybe some of that pizza. Nah, never mind. The pizza line's, like, way too long, okay? Like, the pizza line's 5 miles long. It's going out into the hallway, okay? People are still trying to get through the school doors to get this pizza, okay? So I'm like, alright, I'm gonna settle for a chicken sandwich, okay? These chicken sandwiches at my school are fire! Literally, they burn my mouth open. I don't know what ingredients they put in them, but it is so spicy that even a black man cannot handle the pure amount of spice, okay? Now, this is me growing up on Chinese and Thai food, okay? Now, if you've ever had Thai food and you don't know what spicy is, I can't comprehend where your life is, okay? Where are you in life if you don't know Thai and spicy, okay? But that's regardless. So I'm going over to get these chicken sandwiches, okay? And at this table are the black kids. Now, of course, you have many different cliches, okay? You have all these different, cliques, okay? Cliques. Do you think I know how to say it? So you got, the band kids, you got the freaking, I don't know, the nerds, you got all the kids and their pride flags, the members of the LGBTQ++ and minus plus community sitting at a table, you got the cheerleaders, and then you got the black kids, okay? Now, the black kids, this is kind of a weird group because you got the black kids who are jacked, you got the black kids who are kind of fancy and rich, you got the black kids who are, athletic, you got the black kids who are freaking nerds, and you got the black kids who are just straight up cool, okay? You got the whole shebang for black, okay? You got your bang for your buck, you got your black for your buck, okay? I do not endorse slavery, but at the same time, hey, I am here for money. It's paid slavery practically. That's what called hiring me or supporting my Patreon is, okay? But regardless, so I'm walking over to the chicken sandwich line, and there it is, the summoning call from the black kids. Now, if you don't know, I kind of know the black kids. I know the druggy black kids, okay? Don't ask why. And so they're like, yo, Tiger, come over here. And I'm like, yo, I throw it on, my black scent, I'm like, yo, what's up, my bro? And they're like, yo, what's up, my nibba? And I'm like, yo, not too much, it's just it's been hard out on the streets, gangs and crap and drugs and girls and hoes and I don't know, man. And they're like, yo, so hype, man. And I'm like, yeah, bro, totally lit, fam. They're like, yeah, bro, you're talking like a white boy. And I'm like, I know, I was raised by a white boy. Just kidding, I was raised by a white girl. I don't got no dad because I'm so black. So they're like, they're doing that whole thing, okay? And they're like, okay, Tiger, we're gonna get down to business. And I'm like, yeah, business is my middle name, bro. I make so much business as much as I make love. And they're like, okay, man, do you got a girlfriend? And I was like, just forget what I just said. Okay, so I'm like, I just forget what I just said, all right, man? And they're like, okay, man. So I'm like, okay, no, I don't have a girlfriend. And they're like, but I thought you just said. I'm like, ignore it, man. So they're like, okay, so you don't got a girlfriend, right? And I'm like, nah, I just told you now. So they're like, okay, so we dare you. And I'm like, yeah. They're like, we dare you to go get a girl Snapchat. We bet you can. I'm like, hey, I know, bro, I ain't no wimp. They're like, wait, you're actually gonna do it, bro? And I'm like, yeah, what's in it for me? And they're like, yo, we gonna give you $1. So I'm like, hey, yo, you know, $1, I don't need it, but I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna take whatever girl accepts me too. So I'm like, okay, I'm looking around, you know, I'm looking around, okay? Now, let me get back into my fancy voice, because my black scent is not in its prime yet. So, I'm looking around, okay? I'm looking around. And here's when things start getting intense, because think of it, I go into full strategy mode, okay? I'm going into full beast mode, bro. Okay, so I'm going into full tiger mode, okay? So I'm thinking like, okay, so what I need a group of girls so that my chances of getting rejected can be higher or lower, okay? So I just need, because all I need is one girl. So if I go up to a group of girls and at least one of them says yes, I am in luck, okay? So I go up to a group of girls, I see this random group of 4 girls, okay? And they're in our, like, school, like, colors, like, our school, like, jackets and stuff. So I'm like, okay, this is either Hope Squad, Suicide Prevention Squad, and they're going to say, yeah, we can give you your Snapchat just because of, you know, obligatory, or these girls are just nice because only nice people have good clothes, okay? So I walk up to them, and I'm like, and let me tell you right now, I'm wearing a suit, because it is Fancy Friday. Fancy Friday. Okay, I'm sorry about that, your warning. It's Fancy Friday. Fancy Friday is where I wear my suit and I just go feel fancy because I love feeling fancy, okay? So I'm wearing my suit and I walk up to the table and I'm like, well, hello, ladies. And no, I genuinely just like walk up and I'm like, hey. And I get straight to business. I'm like, okay, so I got a deal with my friends, okay? And I'm like, you need to keep it on the lowdown. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, and they kind of give me this like weird look, but they're chill. I'm like, look, I need one of your Snapchats, okay? And they give me this weird look, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. You probably get the squad, okay? And then they're like, okay, we'll give it to you. And I'm like, wait, actually? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, I was going to tell you I was going to give you $1. And they're like, oh, you wait, it's for $1 too? And I'm like, yeah. So here's the thing. I've got deals with my friends. They're going to give me, and I have to think business. So I'm like, okay, I can't tell them I'm going to get, I'm like, the boys are going to give me $1, or else I'm going to seem like a simp, or I'm going to seem weird, okay? So I'm like, my friends are giving me $5, but I'll give you $1, and then, like, I'll give you one of my dollars, okay? So I'm talking business, okay? And once I talk business, they just kind of, like, don't act as weird as they were before, or, like, looking at me, like, kind of weird, but kind of intrigued. They're like, they fully get what's going on here, okay? I'm offering them money for the Snapchats, and I know how bad that sounds, but that's what it is. So they're like, okay, you give us $1, and we'll give you your Snapchats. And then they're like, I want to give him my Snapchat. And they're like, no, I want to give him my Snapchat. And I was like, look, I just need one of yours. And I'm like, well, like, don't you have $5? Why can't we just both get your Snapchat? And I'm like, I'm like, because I only can split it I have a $1 bill, so I only have one, okay? And so like, okay, fine. So one of the girls is like, here, I'll give you your Snapchat. And then they're like, here, you know, we'll all give you our Snapchats, and then we can just split the $1. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of flattered at this point. Not gonna lie, I am feeling quite good about my self-esteem, my ego. My ego's overly massive already. It's bloated. It's freaking as big as the apple Eve took a bite out of, so I know it must be gigantic. So I'm like, okay, so I get 4, okay, one of the girls actually walked off in embarrassment. I'm pretty sure she just went to get food or something and she just walked off because, you know, awkward. So I get 3 girls Snapchats, and as I'm walking, as I get it, the boys are like, I'm kind of sitting, I'm kind of like in the middle of the lunchroom. They're kind of off to the side, so they can see what's going on, but they can't hear what I'm saying or anything. And they're like, yo, did he actually get it? And they're like, yo, what? God, bro, we freaking got it. I'm like, no way. And I turn around and I start striding back with my phone. And here's the thing, I forgot to mention, I don't have Snapchat. So I actually ended up just getting one of the girls' Instagrams and then writing down the other 2 Snapchats and then the girl's Instagram. I wrote them all down wrong just because I was trying to hurry because I wanted to get out of there as fast as possible. So I wrote them all down wrong. And so the boys, I'm walking back and the boys are like, yo, what an absolute god. And I walk up and I wait there. I'm like, okay, I know I got them in the palms of my hands. I gotta play this off for, like, you know, presentation. Please tell me you got that reference. So I'm walking back and they're like, did you get the girls' numbers? Or like one of the girls' Snapchats? And I was like, what if I told you? And they're like, wait, what? No way. And I'm like, I got 3. And they're like, yo, what an absolute god, bro. And they, you know, they start yelling, being, you know, annoying black kids. They're, you know, they're going crazy, man. I got him in the palm of my hand. And they're like, no way, bro. And I'm like, how did you get there? And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, bro, you just went up to the freaking cheerleaders. And I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah, bro, how did you get their Snapchats? Like, nobody gets their Snapchats. They're the freaking cheerleaders, dude. And I'm like, what? And I don't want to tell them about the dollar bill, because it's still the cheerleaders, man. Dollar bill or not, they gave me 3 when I only needed 1, and for $1, like, nobody needs $1 for, you know, whatever reason, okay? So I'm like, bruh, no way. And they're like, dude, so one of the black kids, you know, comes up and straightens my tie, because again, I am wearing a suit, and they're like, dude, you are a freaking pimp, bro. Don't know what that means. Not sure if it's a bad word. Please, YouTube, don't demonetize me. Please, friends, don't hate me. I don't think it's a bad word, but please. So they're like, bro, you are straight boss, bro. Okay, so now the black kids are happy, and let me tell you, this was the greatest feeling, because now I got the black kids happy. I got 3 girls' Snapchats, and I got, like, everybody in here was happy. The black kids got their entertainment. The girls got their dollar bill, which they can, you know, put into a vending machine for, like, a bag of, like, a small bag of, like, Skittles or something. And yeah, everybody's happy, so I'm feeling great. And I'll go over to my friend group, and I'm like, did you guys see that? And they're like, what? And I'm like, you guys missed the greatest achievement of my entire freaking life. And they're like, what are you talking about? And I was like, okay, whatever. So that's the end of my story. Let me just tell you, now that I have some genuine street cred with the black kids, okay, because before I kind of knew them, but they just thought I was like the weird nerdy kid, but now I'm kind of like the, you know, the cool nerdy kid. So that's about it. I'm sorry I've been talking for 10 minutes. I'll shut up now, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Goodbye. Hey, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you made it this far, mad respect. Please remember that none of this had any scripts, so it was just kind of random. I had all these clips left over, and I just wanted to get rid of them so I can start on the mega compilation, which is like this, but it's going to be much better, proper editing. Everything that's the story times that are in here right now, I'm going to put into the mega compilation, but not the actual video clips, except one of them with my teammate trash talking me, because I kind of want the audio in there. So I really appreciate you guys watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll shut up, and you guys can do. I hope you absolute beasts have a wonderful day.